Welcome back to WRPL, the podcast where we talk about all the things we are watching, reading, playing, and listening to. My name is Ben.
And I'm Steve.
Today, once again, another light week. No major releases that we gave a shit about. I guess it's just Death on the Nile this week. Which,
Pass.
yeah, don't care. I'll wait till that's free in, 2 months on Amazon or something. So, our main topic today is going to be the Oscars. Both Steve and I don't want to say fans, but we enjoy movies enough to give somewhat of a shit about the Oscars.
Yeah, I was talking to my fiance about this today, and I think the last time I kind of cared about the Oscars was when Mad Max came out.
Mm.
Just because I love that movie so much, I wanted to see it win as much as possible. But the ceremony itself is too long and uninteresting, and I don't care what all these people have to say for huge stretch of the time.
Yeah,
I just want them to go up there, say their thank yous, and then get on to, I don't know, Hugh Jackman doing a musical number or something.
sure. Yeah.
You can make the show entertaining, but it's all about elegance and the best of the best.
Yeah,
And it's just a slog fest to get through in the past
sometimes.
decade.
Yeah. And are we getting a host this year? Or is it hostless again?
I believe it's hostless again.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
And that's probably for the best.
I'll talk to my fact checker about that.
Yeah, we don't need a host to introduce someone who then introduces someone else who then does the category. Like, let's cut out one of those people.
Honestly, we don't need award shows in general.
Yeah, sure.
But, Ian, it's nice to feel appreciated
That's a
when
bunch of
making $1 million movies and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. You need something more than just being beautiful and famous and rich and a superstar. You need a statue that says, like, you are still all these things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and talented. But a couple of fun trailers came out. Today is Super Bowl Sunday. Congratulations to the Rams.
Los Angeles Rams.
Yep, that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, I watched some of the game and I saw some of the trailers, but I didn't hear any of the trailers because I was it was a group event and everyone was talking over each other.
Yeah.
So, but I did watch them now and I'm willing to talk about them.
Cool. I don't have anything new to bring up besides what I just talked about. So, Steve, what do you got?
Uh, well, I was just wondering, do I want to talk about these now or to save it for next week? We're gonna kill time and who cares? I watched a movie you watched, Nightmare Alley.
Ah,
Yeah. I was surprised to see it on Hulu, and it's also on HBO Max. I was like,
oh, quick.
wow, crazy to see that there. So I popped that on, and I enjoyed it, but also didn't really care all that much.
Yep.
It was Crimson Peak in a different time period,
Sure.
essentially.
Yeah.
It even had, it's sort of at the end, your blood-covered haunted chick.
Mhm.
Obviously, there's no real ghost in this movie or
Yeah.
anything, but it was just like, just Del Toro was like, we got to throw in some ghost chick in there. At some
Yeah.
point.
This is my least favorite from him.
Yeah.
I would have to go back and watch some of his earlier stuff, Devil's Backbone and the like. But like before, Crimson Peak was my least favorite, and I think maybe this one maybe looks better, but I don't find it that interesting. I think the story can be interesting. I don't think it's presented in an interesting way.
I agree. When the movie was over, I just thought there's a really great film here
Mhm.
that just didn't materialize.
Yeah.
I don't exactly know what went wrong along the way because I think everyone in it's great.
Yeah.
I think visually it looks great.
Hmm.
It's well shot and well acted, and production values all that. It has
That's a given with
it has
Del Toro.
all the trappings of being an Oscar worthy great film. And then I guess the fault is really the script,
Mhm.
because I just you pretty much find out real quick that Bradley Cooper's kind of a sleazebag, and so you're not rooting for him the entire film.
Yeah.
And then you have this femme fatale Kate Blanchett character who comes in, who I guess is supposed to be the hero, but I missed why she was the way she was.
Yeah. The turn at the end was just like, why? For what
Yeah,
reason? Why did you go along with this the whole time if you were just gonna betray him?
yeah,
Maybe I'm a dum dum, but I didn't get
yeah. I
that.
don't know if there was a piece of dialogue I missed or some story beat on what, like, if she's this therapist who she meets certain people and like, okay, this guy sucks. I'm gonna show him what's what.
Hmm.
But it all seemed like this was all part of her very long con to,
Get his money that she denied anyways.
yeah,
I don't get that.
yeah. I was a little confused about her motivations. I mean, the whole time I was kind of expecting her to be in on something,
Sure.
but the turn at the end, it I don't know. It just something was missing here.
Hmm.
Uh, and you had the Richard Jenkins character who you were supposed to think is also kind of sleazy because he did these awful things to women
Hmm.
and all that stuff, but he was really presented in like the sweet old man way. So when he's getting beaten to death by Bradley Cooper,
Yeah.
which is super violent,
Oof.
uh, I honestly I felt more bad for that guy
Hmm.
and Bradley Cooper, who is he the hero? Is he the I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
what
And
his
maybe this is a movie where it's not about who's the hero, who's the villain, and
yeah
it is just a story. But it's hard to give a shit, especially at the very end when he is such a scumbag. And are we supposed to feel happy that this happened to him? Or are we like, oh, this is so tragic? Because he's a bad guy and he deserves everything that he gets, but does he deserve that? Because that's awful.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked the very end,
Hmm.
with the talk early in the film about, oh, this is how you get someone to become
To,
a
yeah.
geek. Yeah, you find this drunken loser and you slow feed him opium and tell him it's only a temporary gig, but then it
Hmm.
becomes a full time gig
Yeah.
because you made him addicted to your stuff.
Yeah.
And then Bradley Cooper knows that and then willingly goes into it because he's like,
Hmm.
I am a piece of shit. This is what I deserve. Like that's strong story work right there that I really
Sure.
liked. Uh,
But I saw that coming a mile away.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as he ran and went back to the circus in some capacity, it's just like, okay, I know exactly where this is
Yeah.
going.
But luckily, that's literally the last like 7 minutes.
Yeah,
It's not like you're
true.
just dragging out and like, oh,
Yeah.
where's this gonna go?
Hmm.
It's just okay. You see where it's going. It'll be over in five.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, the whole. I mean, I love con men stories.
Hmm.
And I think conning is very cool, even though it is most of the times awful because
Yeah.
you're usually taking advantage of someone who doesn't necessarily deserve to have it happen to. But yeah, his wife, Rooney Mara's character, who's the sweet innocent girl who didn't deserve his con, but she also kind of saw him for it. I didn't really root for her or care about her
Yeah.
character either,
Hmm.
because even at the end where she's like, I don't want to participate in this, but she still does,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I had a hard time rooting for anyone because nobody was a good person,
Yeah.
which isn't necessarily a bad thing in a movie. I can appreciate that. Oh, you're a fully fledged character. Of course, no one's like pure good
Yeah.
unless you're Steve Rogers or whatever.
And Spider
And the
Man.
Spider-Man, yeah. They're believable. All the people in this movie are believable. It's just I wish there was something to care about this movie,
Yeah.
and there just isn't, and it sucks because I love Del Toro and I think there's a great movie here. It just I don't know, it just didn't work for me.
Yep. Same.
I almost wish he actually had some sort of psychic power or developed it or something. Or there was a twist with
Hmm.
actual supernaturalness, but it was all just, no, I'm a con man and my con failed and now I become what I never wanted to be in the first place, which
Yeah.
was a drunk.
Yeah. I think the time jump hurts this movie. This seems like it should have been a show because you need the early days of the circus, the later days, moving into becoming a low level con man, becoming a big star, and then the fall. Like if this was a 5 episode miniseries, I think it could
Hmm.
work because these two characters they meet and they're instantly in love, and then we jump to 2 years later and they're married and they hate each other now. And it's just like, well, I need that middle part. I need
Yeah.
to know the breakdown of why this happened. And yeah, it just kind of skips through things that I wanted to see and lingers on stuff that I didn't care as much.
Yeah, and you have the Toni Collette character, and she's the wife of the first hypnotist,
Yeah, well,
medium,
yeah,
essentially, who works at the circus, and he basically steals all his skills and has an affair with his wife, and it's just you. So you have this whole relationship that just seems to happen within the first 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and then it just jumps into his next relationship, and that's the rest of the movie. But I don't know. There's just so much story you could have told with those two characters who
yeah,
seemed interesting. But you basically just here's a thing. You're gonna do it for 20 minutes. Then we're gonna write them off, and then you're off to your next
Yeah.
thing, and then it just sped up really fast
Yeah.
for a movie that's pushing 3 hours.
All right.
So,
Yeah. So I,
C,
yeah, I can't remember what I gave it, but probably
C
C
plus
minus.
at
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
I want to give it a B just from a visual and technical perspective,
Yeah.
but just from sheer enjoyment, C.
Yeah.
I'll never watch it again.
No.
Uh, and I want to see Del Toro just do Cthulhu or Dungeons and Dragons. Just give him
Yeah.
some weird ass monster movie. That's
Yeah.
I know he's done monster movies, but he's good at them, and I want to see more
Yep.
because no one else is really making monster movies like he does.
For sure. All right. And you have a video game as well?
I have one. Yeah, I played 12 minutes. It is a video game starring major celebrities: James
Mm-hmm.
McAvoy, Daisy Ridley, and Willem Dafoe.
Nice.
Uh,
Two Willem Dafoe things.
Willem
Mm.
Dafoe, who of all the characters in Nightmare Alley, Willem Dafoe's the best.
Yeah. And so then when he's gone, it's just kind of like you have this void.
Yeah, I wanted more Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
Or just give me the movie of Willem Dafoe working at that
Sure.
carnival and finding that weird baby in a jar that you keep cutting to that never materialized into anything.
No, it was just a, oh, look, the other circus must have failed. This guy has it now. Okay.
He's the new Dafoe character.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep it all in the circus.
Yeah,
If the whole movie would have been a circus thing, I think I would have
yeah.
been happier.
Anyway, so this game is a time loop game where every 12 minutes you jump back to essentially walk into your apartment, and you have to uncover a man. Willem Dafoe's character comes in and arrests your wife for murder of her father, and also arrests you, and then depending on what happens, he basically he'll just kill you every time. Um, and you don't know if he's actually a police officer or if your wife actually did it. And so you just play the same 12 minutes over and over and over again, uncovering new clues every single time and searching a house, and there's hidden stuff. And it's all overhead. So and it all takes place in an apartment. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can't leave the apartment. If you do, you start back over.
Okay.
So you can't even go into the hallway.
Is that like kind of a, I kind of messed this day up. I want to reset. You just go outside and start over?
Essentially,
Okay.
but anyway, so I looked it up because before I buy any game, I want to see the runtime of it. Because if I'm going to drop X amount of dollars, I need to show the runtime is worth it. So they said the average play time for this game is 4 hours.
Mm.
So you can beat it in one sitting if
Mm-hmm.
you know what to do. I did not beat it in 4 hours. That was one of the main. Well, I got it because I like the concept, and I thought, let me get out of my comfort zone and do this cool little smaller game. So I think it was $25, and I was like, $25, 4 hours. Well, whatever. It's fine. Uh, so for the first 4+ hours I was playing this game, it was pretty cool. And even though you were playing the same moments over, it never felt tedious. And there is kind of like a fast forward button. Like if you've
Okay.
had a conversation, you can sort of skip it.
Okay.
Uh, and each time I was getting new information and learn and having different dialogue conversations. And there's times when you have those conversations and they mess up, or it for what it is, it's really impressive that they were
Mm-hmm.
able to craft this story in this interesting way that playing the same thing over and over again wasn't inherently boring. Uh, but it did get to a point where I knew I had to. Okay, so I have to open this vent to get this thing that's in this vent, but I didn't know how to do it, and
Mm.
I kept trying, and so I had to stop for a second and look it up. And getting that thing is something I was in terms of the walkthrough on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
That was like you can beat the game in 7 loops,
Mm-hmm.
and I was on like loop 5, but I did it in loop 2 essentially
Yeah.
because there was still all this stuff that I did and didn't do, and I gathered all this information before I even got this goddamn pocket watch. Uh, but then it got to the dip, like I got to the final loop, whereas I have all the information, I've done all the steps, I have everything I need, and I just couldn't figure out what to fucking do.
Mm.
And I played it over and over. I was trying all this different stuff, and I know that's kind of the point of
Yeah.
when you watch Groundhog Day, he's trying every single possible thing to get the day to end, and it just won't. And it was so frustrating. And then I was just like, I have to look up what to do. And then I looked up what to do, and somehow I was still messing it up. I don't know if I just didn't read it right. And I was just like, what is happening? So I was getting real annoyed. And then finally I figured it out. And the the twist at the end was pretty interesting. It was altogether it was a really good story and more a game that would have been more fun. I think if there was maybe a bigger stage,
Okay.
but the fact that it was small
Hmm.
made it engaging. I really liked it until the
Mm.
final loop essentially. Just but that was for my own misunderstanding, I guess, of the game or the
Okay.
game mechanics. Because there's essentially to you can finish the game but not get to the credits unless you do something very specific.
Okay.
And there is multiple endings and whatever, but you have to stare at this one item for like 30 seconds and then eventually it'll take you to the cutscene that will get you to the end of the game. And there's no way to know that
Yeah.
or yeah, there
Why would I sit and just let something stay on the screen for 30
unless
seconds?
misunderstood, because I mean, I'll just say that there's a pocket watch that plays a big part in the game, and in order to get to that final cutscene, that watch is actually going backwards, so that might be the only clue to let you know, like,
Oh,
okay, keep looking at this and see what happens.
okay.
But you could just open it, look at it, and go, oh, this watch is broken now,
Yeah.
or whatever, or I don't know. It was so annoying because like how unless I looked up how to do it, how the fuck would I get to this to that true ending
Yeah.
of the game? Because the game doesn't give you hints or tell you anything. I
Hmm.
mean, there's hints through dialogue
Sure.
and all that kind of
But
stuff.
no pop up like, hey, maybe you should
Yeah.
check behind the
Or
fridge.
and I mean the menu is options and start. Like
Oh,
there's no the
difficulty changes
nope.
or.
It is what it is.
Okay.
And there's no, yeah, if you're stuck on something, there's no help button, or, you can't go to your wife and ask a question again and be like, oh, yeah, there's that thing in the room you should take care of. It's in,
Yeah.
just like I said, there's little hints just from natural dialogue. I mean, great performances from all of them. This game could have been an A if I just didn't get so frustrated.
Mm.
So it's just going to be a B minus
Okay.
for shortness, some frustration, but storyline altogether pretty great.
Okay. Cool.
Um, I can tell you about it if you want to know, or
Yeah, I'm kind of torn because I've heard good and bad things, and it sounds kind of up my alley, but also yeah, I hate doing repetitive bullshit as well. So we'll talk afterwards. We'll see.
yeah. I will say I think this could easily be adapted into a movie
Yeah.
and work.
Okay.
It lends itself to it, especially with the performances and everything.
Well, we did video game movies last week,
Yeah.
so
So my pitch for the next video game movie is 12 minutes.
all right.
So time loops and all that have been done plenty.
Sure.
It's different. I didn't see the ending coming, which is cool.
Okay.
So
All right. There's four major trailers I want to talk about. Would you agree?
yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Sure. Yeah,
Yep.
sure.
Four. Which one do you want to talk about first?
Should we go? Well, I think you know where
I know where you want
my
to
number
end.
one
Yes,
is.
but I know which one you want to talk about the most.
Yeah, but I know which one you want to talk about most, so at least I think I do.
I don't know. I want to talk about all of them.
All right, well, let's just start with Jurassic World Dominion because we know we don't really give a shit about that.
Yeah, I have pretty low expectations, even though I picked this for my highest grossing film of
Mhm.
2022. Uh, Jurassic World did it. Why can't this one? And I think I'm on track. This trailer looks pretty cool. I think this looks like a lot of fun, a lot of crazy dinosaur action. We get the return of the Dilophosaurus. We get which looks like a James Bond scene of like him riding a motorcycle through the streets and raptors are
Yeah,
parkouring off
I
rooftops.
saw a comment online that said it looks like they reused the footage from that Will Smith movie,
Gemini Man?
Gemini Man, just but replaced one of the motorcyclists with a raptor. And I was like,
Yeah,
damn, that'd be funny.
absolutely. But there's just a lot of good imagery of, like someone's hiding under the water and the mouth is right over it. The Dilophosaurus are back, which was always one of my favorites from the first movie. I don't know. I think this looks like a lot of fun. And
Yeah,
oh, and we get the whole original cast or the original trio back.
yeah. I'm cautiously optimistic. I think that like you said, there is some great shots in it. My problem is actually with the cast.
Mm.
This just feels like, look, man, our movie's not that great. We'll pay a ton of
Yep,
money to
bring him in.
we'll bring in Goldblum, we'll bring in Sam Neill. Like, oh look, it must be good if they're willing to come back.
Sure.
But it's no, they gave us a bunch of money,
Yeah.
so we're back for probably 30 minutes of the film, maybe more.
Or
They could speed up quite a bit. But I imagine this is still a Chris Pratt show. It's not going to be
it
this.
would,
It's not going to be Sam Neill and the crew, and then Chris Pratt is just the side character. It's going to be the Chris Pratt show, and then up here comes these three experts to
mm-mm.
help us. And
I don't know if you see them even in the same shot together, like Chris Pratt and uh, what's her name?
yeah, maybe when they see the T Rex, he's kind of standing off
Oh, that
camera
yeah,
in
that's
the
right.
very like end of it.
But it seems like there's two different stories, and then they'll meet up at the
Yeah,
end.
yeah. Which that would be my theory.
Hmm.
Yeah, it looks like a could be a good summer blockbuster movie, but if you told me that this movie sucks, I wouldn't be
Yeah,
surprised. I'm keeping my expectations low for this for the sole purpose of my own mental state because the last one did nothing for me. Then the first one was fine.
it was enjoyable.
It was
It did
yeah,
exactly what it should have done.
yeah. It was The Force Awakens for Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
Oh, you like Jurassic Park 1? Well, we're gonna remake it essentially, but with a different cast.
yeah. All right, let's do Nope next.
Okay.
I kind of forgot this trailer was dropping today, and um, woke up to like a little notification,
Mhm.
like a countdown or something. It's like, oh, I'm so excited. Uh, this looks cool.
Yeah. This is how trailers, especially horror trailers, should be made
Yeah.
because you give us a bunch of weird, creepy imagery that has no context,
Hmm.
and from beginning to end, you don't know what the fuck this movie's about.
Yeah.
And I love that. Clear there's something up in the sky. Is it aliens?
Aliens.
You have this weird chick with her face peeled back or something with like no
Yeah.
eyes, and
Yeah, I didn't even know the first time I watched it, all I saw was like her
her,
veil kind of
yeah.
blow up, and I didn't pay attention. And then I saw a screen cap of her like weird ass teeth, and I was like, okay, did someone Photoshop this? And I had to rewatch the trailer. And like, what
Mhm.
is going on with her face?
And there's just a bunch of weird phenomena going on,
Hmm.
and I think it's interesting. I'm interested to know what the context is, if it has anything to do with the movie, of it just the only black owned
Horse trainers
horse trainers for
for
Hollywood
movies?
movies and
Yeah.
stuff. Uh,
Yeah. What do they have to do with each other?
yeah, yeah. Or if it has really nothing to do with each other,
Yeah.
it's just a reason to be set on a farm,
Sure.
I guess. Uh, but yeah, the beginning of the trailer seemed fun, and then it
Hmm.
just got creepier and creepier and weirder and weirder. And after Get Out and Us,
Hmm.
I'm all in.
Yeah. He really can do anything, and I'll show up for it.
Yeah, I think.
He's the new Shyamalan.
Yeah, I don't know if we talked about Nope on our most anticipated, but
No.
I regret that because now
Yeah.
this is on my most anticipated.
Yeah.
Not my most anticipated, but definitely top 10 somewhere in there.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Then let's talk about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Uh, the trailer's incredible.
Yeah, I was not super impressed with the teaser after
No,
Spider-Man, but this has got a lot going on.
yeah, I mean the teaser definitely was just a teaser
Hmm.
to. I mean this, other than maybe, well, this is a full trailer versus the next thing
Yeah.
that we're going to talk about,
Hmm.
but this might be the biggest trailer I've seen in a while. Just in terms of it looks like its scope and its directions it's going, and
Vision.
it just seems like it's throwing a ton at you in this 2.5 minute thing. Which, if I mean, Marvel is notoriously good at keeping stuff
Or editing a trailer
good.
a
Yeah.
certain way.
So I, if you're showing all of this, I can't imagine what's going to be in this thing.
Yeah.
And some of the shots in this I think are incredible and wild.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, multi-armed, fucking floating evil zombie Doctor Strange.
Hmm.
It's like, what else is going to be in
Yeah.
that thing?
Potentially Professor X.
Uh,
Sounds
uh,
like Patrick Stewart in that trailer.
yeah, we get a little tease of probably Patrick Stewart, which I know he's the quintessential Professor X, but he's really old.
He is.
I
And it was like Logan was perfect for him and Hugh Jackman to leave
yeah.
and be done with it. For this, if you're bringing in the X-Men, why do we need to bring in the old X-Men? This is your chance to truly reboot it,
Yeah.
completely fresh with your own set of characters. And I mean, obviously, multiverse. Maybe we'll have 6 different Professor X's.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Races
my
and
my
genders.
only thought is you have the old X-Men and then you have the new X-Men, and then you're just like, okay, we can pick and choose who we like from these universes.
Mm,
And then whoever we don't like we'll replace with our version.
yeah.
So it's like we'll have the three multiverses coming together, which is fine, I guess.
Okay.
But I love Patrick Stewart. I
Mm-hmm.
don't need to see him in
Yeah.
this, but
Sure.
I could be wrong. Maybe his scene's going to show up, and I'm like, damn, this scene made the whole movie. This was
They're gonna
Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire
yeah.
coming in, you know?
They'll wheel out 6 different Professor X's and they'll have a really good conversation with each other. And then at the end, the post credit will be like, vote for your favorite Professor X, and he'll be the new default. And that's how they'll do it.
It'll be the Death of Robin storyline, but
Yeah,
that'd
exactly.
be fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's exciting to see the X-Men possibly,
Hmm.
definitely coming into the fray and where that will go. Because I guess other than Batman and Spider-Man, X-Men for a long time were kind of the big
Yeah.
superhero franchise.
Hmm.
They've been around a long time. So,
2000.
yeah.
Well, yeah, at least the movies have been.
Right. Because I mean, Superman movies are great, but they've never really found their footing in terms of like continuing franchises,
Yeah.
other than the first one back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, they had like 4, and they were, moderately successful with declining returns.
Right.
Um, but yeah, X-Men has always been one of my favorite comic book series. I didn't read a lot of Marvel superhero stuff or even Spider-Man. It was all about X-Men for me. So any chance of bringing them in, it gets me excited. And I'm very excited to see Wanda come back because it's been over a year since WandaVision, or by the time the movie comes out, it'll be
Right.
over a year.
I I keep forgetting that Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Chiwetel Ejiofor,
Thank you. How do you? It's like
Mordo.
yeah, he was in the first movie, and first movie seems like ages ago,
Yeah,
and it came out in 2016.
16. Okay.
So by the time this movie, so 6 years later,
Yeah.
and we haven't seen this guy in 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like usually, some of your other characters would pop in occasionally. We haven't seen Rachel McAdams. We
Wow.
haven't seen anybody from the first movie. Was Wong in the first one? Wong was in the first one. Yeah, that's how you introduce him, of course.
Wong and the what's Tilda Swinton, the High Priest,
The
oh,
elder one or the shit
um what is she called?
doesn't matter.
The Grandmaster?
No, that the Grandmaster is Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, okay.
The ancient one?
The Ancient
Yeah,
One.
ancient
There
one.
you go.
Uh,
You found it, Steve.
so yeah, it's because they did the same thing with Thor. I feel like it's just like, oh, we don't really have anything to do with Natalie Portman, so we'll just kind of write her off. But they're
Mhm.
bringing her back for this one. It's like, oh, we didn't really have anything with Rachel McAdams for the past 6 years, so we
Yeah.
won't even mention her. Oh, but now we're bringing her back. So it's good that the Doctor Strange crew is back together
Yeah.
again, and I'm all for it. I know I've been kind of hard on Marvel movies on this podcast, but it's only because I appreciate quality and I want to see them succeed and exceed my expectations. And from a trailer standpoint, this is might be my favorite Marvel trailer so far. It's pretty awesome,
Yeah.
and it looks creepy. I'm all for doing something new, and it looks very horror oriented. And Sam Raimi
Mhm.
is, you know, a great horror director and a decent superhero director. So put
Yeah.
them together, this might be his perfect
Yeah. His
perfect house.
opus.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, and we'll see if he comes back for Doctor Strange 3 or
If we even get the Doctor
if we
Strange.
get
Yeah, I
it.
mean, you could do another 6 years and, Cumberbatch may be an old man. You never know how they age. The British.
He'll be Pickle Patch because
Pickle Patch?
instead of Cumber.
Oh, he's not a cucumber anymore.
Yeah,
He's all old, so he's a pickle.
there you go.
Oh, okay. There's a
It's
joke there?
yeah.
There's a better.
I'll workshop it. Yeah, I'll workshop it. Uh,
Well, like, cucumbers come. You could say it's like, oh, it's a cucumber patch, and Cumberbatch. That sounds like cucumber patch. So it's like his last name now, Pickle Jar. That's how pickles come. Benedict Pickle Jar.
Weirdly, just as British. Uh,
Yeah, so I'm excited for it too.
some
I'm
cool monsters too.
yeah.
Some squid, one-eyed creatures, and
I think I'm more excited to see like what Thor 4 is going to be,
Hmm.
just because that's going to probably be pretty crazy. And I feel like this one is, oh, how many cameos can we throw in? Who do we got? Because there's rumors that even Tom Cruise is going to show up as Tony Stark from another universe because he was
Right, right.
initially going to be Iron Man. That
I do not want that.
I think he would have made a great Tony Stark.
Oh, I have no problem with that. I'm just saying,
You don't want to
I know
see
this is the
alternate take.
multiverse, and so this is their opportunity to do some really weird shit.
Yeah.
But which on paper sounds good. It's just I also just because you can do a bunch of stuff doesn't
Doesn't
mean you
mean,
should do a bunch
yeah.
of stuff.
It's like, do I need Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider to come in? Do I need Johan
Yeah,
Griffith,
sure.
Mr. Fantastic
Yeah,
come in? Do I need Jessica Alba's Invisible Woman? Probably not all of them. Especially like I don't need uh, Eric Bana's Hulk or anything like that, or even Edward Norton's Hulk.
yeah. The Spider-Man stuff made sense because
Yes.
all those characters are beloved.
Mm-hmm.
Where yeah, no one's
No one gives a shit.
really rooting for this other stuff.
Yeah. I just feel like there's a chance of let's squeeze it in just for the sake of everybody loves these cameos from the Spider-Man movie. Now here's a chance we can go all out, and I could see it being tiresome.
Yeah, and I mean, if the first saga of the Avengers and Marvel and stuff was stopping Thanos and this intergalactic threat, and then this next saga is all about the multiverse.
Mhm.
You can do a bunch of movies about the multiverse, and
Yeah.
obviously Kang's gonna come back and stuff
Hmm.
with the TVA. Like we're gonna get more traveling through all that
Yeah.
stuff. We don't need to shove it
Yeah,
all
we don't
into
need to
this.
close the book on the multiverse. We
Yeah,
can do this multiverse thing, have a couple of standalone normal movies, and then when you need to pull out a multiverse for some reason, you can.
yeah. For sure.
For sure.
So in terms of not that we ever have graded a trailer,
Smash or pass.
smash A plus this
Yeah.
trailer. I love this
Yeah,
trailer.
I'm gonna.
It looks
I wouldn't just smash. I would probably propose. Um,
hit it and not quit it, sucker.
so then our last trailer is Lord of the Rings: The Rings of Power, or is it Ring of Power?
The Rings of
Rings of
Power.
Power. Terrible title.
Yeah, I'm not. It should have just been called the Rings of Power.
Yeah,
I mean, I understand you need to put the Lord of the Rings on there
yeah. I'm gonna
because it
brand
brand
recognition.
recognition. I understand. And I think it's fine. In general, people are just going to call it the Rings of Power. Did you
Yeah.
watch the Rings of
Or did you watch the Lord of the Rings show?
Yeah. Um, so I get it. But, we've seen some images that I'm on the Lord of the Rings Reddit, and, fans were cautiously optimistic on it.
Unless you were a shitty toxic fan and
What?
oh my god, an elf with short hair, a lady dwarf without a beard,
Yeah, I didn't really bother with all those. Uh, but I gotta say, as someone who loves Lord of the Rings, and doesn't want it to be dog shit, I thought it looked pretty fucking great.
yeah,
Uh, I I will say it definitely looks more Hobbit than
yes,
Lord of the Rings,
sure,
but I understand that.
yeah,
But I will say from a quality standpoint, it is fucking gorgeous. Like
yeah,
this is movie quality production
yeah,
design and visuals, and everyone looks like just from those movies. That creature that shows up, I don't even know
yeah,
what it is, looked phenomenal.
yeah,
Uh, there's a lot to like about this trailer. Now it's all just essentially nonsense. One dramatic sentence and sweeping shots. So there's really not much context to anything.
sure,
So it could very well still suck in general. But yeah, just from a teaser standpoint, smash.
yeah.
I,
I'd smash it.
I'd smash it a couple times. Uh,
I'd find the willpower to go a second round with this trailer.
so yeah, I am looking forward to a full trailer and getting to know some of these characters.
Mhm.
Because pretty much this whole show is made up.
Yeah, I mean, but there's precedent for a lot of
I
it.
mean, there's vast histories of the Middle Earth,
Hmm.
but they're very briefly written on. It's not like they go into detail. There are some characters who have stories written, but they're not necessarily famous characters.
Sure.
There isn't going to be much room for um, cameos, essentially,
Oh yeah,
except for Elrond and Galadriel and
but
stuff.
I think they're like the leads, right? Galadriel is the lead of this show.
I don't think so.
Oh, I'm pretty sure she is.
I'll have to double check. But
Okay.
I'm just saying, you're not going to see a ton of characters from
This is years before they even existed, and
just the undying ones of Gandalf,
mm,
Elrond, and but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So,
my boss is a big Lord of the Rings fan, and he's just been like talking my ear off about this show and just giving me huge chunks of history and like who Shelob's mom was and like who Sauron was working for and just like why three hairs from Galadriel is such a big deal with Gimli. And like he knows a lot about this, and we'll just like be talking about anything else. And there'll be a pause in the conversation, and he'll just bring back Lord of the Rings, and it's like I'm fine with it because I love hearing about stuff that I like, but I don't know
yeah.
anything about. And what he was hearing that a lot of this, like the human characters, they may show up in an episode, and then by the next episode, 80 years have gone by and now they're an old man or they're dead.
Hmm.
That we are really going to be jumping through time in this first season. So don't get attached to any humans in the show. They won't last very long.
Yeah, because I mean, if this show takes place, and once again, I should have done more research. If it 1,000 years before,
Beginning of the second age.
yeah, 1,000 or 2 years beforehand, and then if your goal is to get to the start of The Hobbit,
Mm-hmm.
essentially, and let's say the show goes 5 seasons, you're going to cover 2,000 years of history
Yeah,
in 5 seasons.
sure. Because some of it's probably just not that important.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Especially for the elves that like they live so long that a human life is just like a blink of an eye and it's nothing. And
Hmm.
yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how they show that. Where elves are just doing their thing, and then whatever happened to Jimmy? Over in the classic Lord of the Rings character Jimmy,
Yeah,
and then goes and checks
Jimmy
on him,
Tabernacle.
and he's just like an old man, and it's like, oh wow, blowing my mind.
Whoa. Yeah, I also don't need to see a ton of references like to Lord of the Rings, and I mean, obviously the whole show is one giant reference to
Sure,
the creation of the rings, and
I guess when you adapt something from something, you could call that a reference.
but I'm just saying I don't want that. I hope the show doesn't feel the need to go like, oh, remember this sword?
Mhm.
That's Aragorn's
Yeah.
sword, or remember this thing? This is where Gandalf got his stick. I mean, I'd like to see where Gandalf got his wizard staff,
Or
but
Frodo put the ring on that like uh not mountaintop, but
that little stone structure at the end of the
yeah, I
first
guess
one.
that was like the what's his name? The Night King? No, not the wrong one. The Witch King.
The Witch King.
I
Yeah.
guess like that when he was man, that was his castle. So we'll
Okay.
probably see things like that, and that will be like little references, but it won't be as overt.
I'm gonna be so annoying to my wife at this point. I'd be like, "Oh, so babe, let me tell you about this thing."
Let me pause this. I know we're only 2 seconds in, but you see that bell in the back, and it plays an important part.
Actually, when Aragorn kicks that helmet,
Did you know he broke his toe?
quality acting. No, so I can't stress enough how excited I am, and then September is feels so far away, but
Here in a blink of an eye.
yeah, in an elf's age. Uh, but
Yeah, I mean, being an elf and getting to watch like series and stuff, it's just like, oh, it'll come back in a year. Like, yeah, whoop de doo. What's a year? That's nothing.
See, I want to be part of an elf race that lives forever, but I can hibernate and
Mm,
just not need because I feel like
sure.
that'd be the hardest part about being an elf is just the constant boredom, and maybe because you're eternal
Hmm.
or essentially immortal, that you don't really think about time the same way. So, but I mean, you still got to fill your days.
Yeah.
It's like, can I just be an elf that goes like, okay, I'm going to go into stasis for
Yeah, maybe they
two
do. Maybe
years
they have something like that we don't know.
because it just seems all they do is kind of sit around looking pretty and like
Walking through
planets.
gardens and
Yeah.
waterfalls and flowing gowns and
Yeah, like I know they're going to war and stuff, but they don't seem all that interested in fighting things.
yeah.
It's like you never see them training; they're just always good at
Yeah,
stuff.
it's just natural.
It's like
Oh, we're going to
they,
war? Yeah, okay.
because they've had hundreds of years to develop archery skills, so of course they're great. But
Yeah.
you know what? Show me an elf childhood. You never see elf kids.
Yeah.
You just see elf adults, which I
Hmm.
guess like yeah, in 20 years they'll be fully grown and they just look the same. But Like people are fucking each other. Like
Okay,
stories, you know?
speaking of that, one of the big things about this is there going to be nudity? Is there going to be a sex scene? Because when people think of fantasy, they think of Lord of the Rings, and especially in those early seasons, it's like hard violence, hard nudity.
I mean, Game of Thrones.
What did I
You
say?
said Lord of the Rings.
Do
Well,
you
there's
remember when like Bilbo was hanging dog in that movie? That was hardcore.
uh,
Yes, in Game of Thrones, it was very
yeah,
mature.
there's basically the two factions of fantasy. Either it's the high art style of Lord of the Rings, where it's this epic quest of defeating the Dark One, where you're not really getting into the nudity or super violence,
Hmm.
or you go into the heavy nudity and violence of, oh, how can we all just backstab each other? Oh,
And this is a
Game of
real
Thrones.
world, and let's do real world things
Yeah,
where you can do more fantasy stuff. So, where do you think they will have nudity or a sex scene that is more gratuitous than just like you know Arwen and
Vigo.
Viggo Mortensen, Viggo Cracto. Um,
Aragorn.
yes, Aragorn just kind of like lovingly embrace, in the
Uh,
misty woods.
I think because the fans have been so outspoken against it from the jump,
Hmm.
I want to say that that's one thing that I think the show would adhere to. Not that I think studios should necessarily listen to everything fans say, or
Hmm.
that it's like, okay, well, I understand, like that's where you're coming from. You love Lord of the Rings for that reason, but this is our Lord of the Rings, so we're
Yeah.
gonna do something different. So I don't necessarily hate the idea of it happening, but I personally don't need to see it
No.
because I also feel 99% of the time nudity in films is unnecessary
Yeah.
to advance the story or to really
No, it's to get people in the seat because
yeah.
they know, oh my God, Halle Berry's going to show her boobs in
There
this.
are certain movies where it is required or is necessary
Sure.
and it makes sense and I like that stuff I like, but when it's just, oh, here's a horror movie with nudity because teenagers are gonna come see this and
Yeah.
they want to see boobs,
Yeah.
like so I personally don't want to see it, but I think there will be sex scenes. I just think it'll be as sensual as you can get it without ever actually
Yeah.
showing anything.
Collarbone,
Yeah, it'll
bare
be
shoulders, slipping off a
yeah, you
robe.
might see the very top of someone's crack, but you
Yeah.
won't see full butt.
Yeah. A lot of side butt.
And then it'll be, a lot of laying down on the bed and side profile. It's like,
Mm-mm.
yes, they're fully naked, but you're not seeing anything. And then some light thrusting, and like
No, there's no light thrusting. There's not going to be any light thrusting.
I'd be fine with that. But I don't want to see,
No.
I don't want to see heavy nudity and blowjobs. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing about this trailer that I disliked really, other
Hmm.
than the Hobbit stuff, but I don't hate the Hobbit, but that's only because I love the Middle Earth so
Yeah.
much. But I recognize the faults in the Hobbit films. But if it's just the look of the Hobbit, but the Lord of the Rings type storytelling, I'm
Hmm.
all here for it. So let's get it.
The thing I'm looking forward to the most in this show is Sauron. I want to know what his human form looks like. I want to see his fall from whatever, because I guess he was like with the elves and he was a spy with them.
Yeah, I mean, you never played the Shadow of Mordor or
I played the second one, Shadow of War.
Shadow of War, yeah.
Yeah, and I played it for a good amount of time and it got really repetitive. And then I heard at the end you like lose all your armies and you have to start it over again. And I was like, oh, I ain't doing that. Delete.
I mean, I still enjoy that game, but yeah,
Yeah, the
it does.
combat's fun and everything.
And I mean, the whole story is really interesting. It's just, yeah, once the game's over, you can still play it, but you have to
Yeah.
regather your armies because now it becomes like an online conquer thing.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. Who
Yeah.
cares? But I mean, the story of yeah, I am excited to see that too. I want to see Sauron's rise and fall, or yeah, rise because he
Hmm.
doesn't fall until much later. But I mean, yeah, Sauron originally is just essentially an elf dude. Like he's very plain looking. At
Mm.
least in the games, is just long, white haired, standard
Mm.
elf.
See,
And then he just did some evil shit, and then he became the Dark One.
I imagine him after watching like Wheel of Time and seeing the Dark One or whatever that bad guy is when he shows up at the end. He's like Middle Eastern
Yeah,
looking.
yeah, yeah.
That's what I kind of pictured Sauron being. Just yep, just like a really cool Middle Eastern dude. That's
Sauron is at least traditionally depicted just a
a
white guy elf,
all right.
and he got corrupted and got powerful and made these rings and tried to take over the world.
Cool, cool. Last question for this: Are we gonna see human Shelob? The Stoya looking human version from the game, or say Shelob's mother. Are we going to see any of that?
Uh, that's interesting. I don't know enough about the history of Shelob. I know Shelob has a mother, and she ate her was consumed. She consumed herself, and
She ate all of her kids so she could be the most powerful or
uh,
something.
uh, yeah, consumed herself. And Sheila's mom died by consuming herself in her own web of darkness. Which I know this because Stephen Colbert had Dominic Monaghan and Billy Boyd on, where they asked him this question, and
Okay.
he's like, "Of course I know that answer." It's like, uh, so yeah, but I always just thought that they were just spider. I don't know if they actually take human form. I'm
Mm,
not expert enough to,
yeah.
or if they're just this sort of giant magical spider being that does have like can speak and has sentience and has backstory, or if they just have they can
Yeah, I
transform.
always assumed it's just like, oh, Sheila was just this monster that's been around for.
Honestly, like I prefer it as a spider. I don't want to see it in a human form,
Hmm.
but I get from a storytelling perspective, like, oh, who's this interesting chick we're talking to this whole season? Oh, and then at the end you find out it's a spider. Shit,
Well,
easy.
yeah.
I don't need to see that. I'd rather just be a creature that Gandalf talks to or something.
All right, Rings of Power. Looking forward.
Yeah, most anticipated show of
Show.
the year.
Okay. Do you know when Wheel of Time comes back? Will it come back this year?
No,
Okay.
I maybe I doubt it.
Okay. Because they really need to space these two shows very far apart. There
Yeah,
needs to be 6 months in between both. So,
yeah.
you can't have two big concept, successful book fantasy series on this one platform.
Essentially the two quintessential fantasy
Yeah.
series, because there was Lord of the Rings, and then right under it was Wheel of Time,
Mm-hmm.
but Wheel of Time just never
Took
blew up
off.
really
Yeah.
until recently.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I mean we've talked about it on the podcast that it's crazy that I mean if Amazon wants to go in the fantasy business, I'm all for it. It's just interesting
If
that
anyone's got money for it.
yeah, it's just interesting that here's the two essentially biggest fantasy stories of all time that are very very similar. Of oh, let's take a group of adventurers and defeat the Dark One.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but this looks vastly different from Wheel of Time, and I appreciate that about it because I was worried that they would look or feel similar, and hopefully that won't be the case.
Yeah. And then once they're both super successful, we'll get a crossover. Lord of the Rings meets Wheel of Time. No,
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 pass.
no. Yeah, no smash on that. Pass on.
But we probably will get Red Rising. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think Amazon should go that route.
Yeah. Just take it
We'll
off.
give it a Netflix.
No, fuck Necklace. I was gonna say fuck Necklace. Fuck Netflix. They can't do anything right. There was also a little teaser. Better Call Saul will be coming back in like
There is
April.
what?
Yeah,
I didn't see this.
that's what it was like a coming to AMC like, or coming soon. These are all the things, and I'm pretty sure it said like April 2nd was
What?
Better Call Saul.
All right, pause on the
Pause it up.
podcast.
Look that shit up. But because if that's the case, because Bob Odenkirk was talking about the final episode, and he said after reading the script, he was just like blown away. It's not super flashy and not high concept, but just works perfectly and is absolutely beautiful. So I'm very excited to see how that.
Um, Slippin' Jimmy teaser reveals first look at animated Better Call Saul.
Right?
Uh, filming on final season.
Because they're done shooting now.
Flex on Better Call Saul. Wrapping production.
I
I
think.
guess they wrapped production like 2 days ago.
Yeah, but I think last season they were showing the first episodes while they were still finishing shooting the last
Hmm,
episodes.
gotcha. Uh, a sixth and final season consisting of 13 episodes set to premiere on April 18th, 2022. God damn.
Yeah, that's so close. 2 months away?
Woo!
Yeah.
The first episode is going to premiere like a week before my wedding.
Oh, damn.
Sorry, babe, but it's canceled until the show's over. I'm going to be emotionally unavailable till then.
They'll just have to like keep playing the music of like walk down the aisle while you guys are just in the back. Like, hold on, episode's almost done.
Yeah, 20 more minutes.
So let's get to our main topic, the thing people love the most.
Oscar season.
Yeah, superficial awards of rich, powerful, famous people just patting themselves on the back.
Shit,
Uh, you know, I'm here for it. I I don't think I watched last year. Did we? No, because it was pandemic
Yeah, we
and we
didn't.
couldn't get together. And
I think I was working when it was airing
yeah,
too, so and I mean, I wasn't upset about it. I wasn't going
yeah,
to request off to watch the Oscars.
no.
I'll watch the highlights.
So we're gonna go category by category and just we'll predict. I guess we could predict what will win and what we want to win.
Yep.
But I think for logging purposes, I'll just put down what we think will win because I
Yeah, yeah,
we like to have a little competition
yeah.
every year. When we worked at the theater, there was always a contest of who could guess the most, and of course, the guy who created the contest always won
Mhm.
because he's insane with his foresight.
No, I mean, he did the research.
Yes,
I
absolutely,
always,
he deserved it.
yeah, I always came in either second or third because
Hmm.
every year I was so close to beating this guy.
Yeah. I'm never good at it because to
Oh,
me,
you were the worst.
yeah, some things are like this is a no brainer. Of course, Into the Spider Verse is going to win Best Animated, and it didn't, right?
No,
Or
it
it
won.
did?
Yeah,
What was I thinking? Hmm.
you're probably picking some Pixar movie, and
No, 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 no. I would not pick a Pixar movie over that. Maybe I'm
no,
thinking of
not over that. I'm saying
two
on a different
in a
year, you
different
picked a
year.
Pixar movie because it's like, of course,
Oh,
Pixar's
oh,
gonna
it
win.
was a Lego movie. It was like, duh, yeah, Lego movie's gonna
Yeah,
win Best
and it
Animated
should
Film,
have,
and it should have. And I was like, it's gonna win Best Song too because it's so creative
and it
and
should
how
have.
great of, and it should have. And then of course it doesn't, and it's
Yeah.
always something stupid. But let's get to it.
Uh, okay, we're on the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm starting from the bottom, and I was just gonna
Okay.
pick my
Sure.
win.
Sure. Sure.
I mean,
You
I'm just
you
gonna
gonna keep it open?
I was gonna skip Best Picture. I was gonna save that for last because that's in the middle. Anyway, so some of these categories we have done zero research,
Yeah.
have seen none of them, and
Yeah.
we're just gonna guess solely on the title.
Pretty much. Yeah. So what's the
So
first one?
the first one we'll start off with original screenplay,
OG screenplay.
and the nominees are we have Belfast, Don't Look Up, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, and The Worst Person in the World.
Hmm. What's the worst person in the world? What is
I don't know.
worst person in the world? Hmm. I wonder if it's a foreign language film.
The writers are Eskil Vogt and Joachim Trier, so I'm thinking it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking the Scandinavian or Norwegian.
So I think
I've only seen two of these,
yeah,
and one of them was on my worst pictures of the year, so there's no way King Richard is going to get that.
I the amount of times King Richard has been nominated is astounding to me, and
Disgusting.
I haven't seen it, but I feel like I know I agree with you.
Yeah, it's no, it's
Uh,
not good.
so I think that Don't Look Up will win.
I am gonna say Belfast will win. I think Belfast is gonna be the movie that takes a bunch of awards, and everyone will be saying, "What the hell is Belfast?"
Yeah, Belfast, I think, was the first movie that was sort of being marketed this year because I think it maybe came out in September. I could be wrong, but I remember seeing trailers for it, and it just felt like, oh, this is the movie that's going to try and win all the Oscars.
Mhm.
But I don't think it has the power it appears to.
I want Don't Look Up to win. I think it deserves it, but
Yeah,
I'm saying what will win is Belfast.
yeah, yeah, I'll say Belfast will probably win, but I want Don't Look Up to win.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So what do you want me to put down for your prediction? This is what will win.
What will win?
Yeah.
Say Belfast.
Okay. Just taking back everything, huh? Just um, okay. What's our next category?
Adapted screenplay, and the nominees are Coda, Drive My Car, Dune, The Lost Daughter, and The Power of the Dog.
Okay.
I have seen two of these movies.
I have seen one.
Yeah. Uh, so I don't think Coda has the power. I hear it's just a Sundance indie darling. I
Okay.
apparently it's great. I have not seen it. Uh,
See, that's my other one. It's like Belfast and Coda, I think are gonna take a lot of these. So
mm,
I'm putting myself down for
okay.
Coda.
I, I I don't think they have
The cred,
the
the
cred behind. Yeah.
okay.
And the other, I will say, I feel like award shows lately have been trying to space out their awards. Like, no, the movies don't sweep anymore.
Hmm.
It's just like, okay, we gotta give it out to as many people as we can
Sure.
to make everybody
Yeah.
happy. That's kind of what it feels like.
Okay.
Uh, so this one, I okay. So there's Drive My Car. Haven't seen it, but kind of
Hmm.
want to, even though I hear it's like fucking 4 hours.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's keeping me from like really seeking it out.
Hmm.
But it sounds kind of cool,
Yeah.
actually. Dune, I'd say visually incredible, but from a script perspective,
Yeah. No.
it's not all that interesting.
They'll win for visual effects and that's it. And
Uh,
maybe sound.
yeah, I think Lost Daughter, haven't seen it, but I imagine that is a beautiful, uh, lovely performance by everyone in it, but boring as shit.
Yeah.
So
I don't
I,
want emotion. I want sky laser beams. I want laser beams in the sky and invading aliens and blood and guts.
I think this one is going to the power of the dog,
Oh,
both for I think will win and that I want to win.
okay. And looking at a lot of these nominees, a lot of this stuff is on streaming, and so
Mhm.
I'm gonna definitely try to watch as many of the best features.
Oh, okay.
Because other times it's like I've seen one, that's what I'm picking. I don't care. All right, next one.
Visual effects,
Mm,
and the nominees are Dune, Free Guy, No Time to Die, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings,
no,
and Spider-Man No Way Home.
no,
So essentially, four big summer blockbusters and Dune. I know No Time to Die came out late in the year, but
sure, yeah,
that could have easily fit in July. Uh, so, and Spider-Man came out in
yeah.
December, but
I'm saying Dune because
Dune for sure.
Dune is just so impressive with scale and realism, just amazing.
Yeah. Everything else on this, I mean, No Time to Die, not so much, but it's just they're all so glossy.
Yes,
Where Dune looks real despite
lived in.
being so. I mean, it's visual effects the entire time,
Yeah.
essentially.
It's funny. Cordo Crew just released a visual effects episode about No Time to Die, and you know the scene in the trailer where James Bond ducks behind the little rock in the
Hmm.
car. That car's fake. That car is CG. Daniel Craig is CG. The only real thing in that shot is the road. And most of the car chasing scenes, all the roads have been replaced because they had to take so many takes because of all
Hmm.
the skid marks. And the amount of special effects that are in these scenes are incredible. I would have never expected that car to be. I would think that was just a stunt. You lay a stupid fake body there, you do a little car thing, and that's it. But nope, completely CG.
Yeah, I mean, I am all for uh, real in camera, as little visual effects as possible. But some of the stuff they can do nowadays with visual effects to where you don't even know you're looking at something with visual effects,
Mm-hmm.
Christopher Nolan can shut the hell up. But Christopher Nolan's also great at what he does. Don't
Shut
shut
the
up.
hell up! I keep making
But
movies.
keep
Just be
making
quiet about
just keep making great stuff that I pay $12 to see.
it.
All right, so
So this next category is sound. Wasn't sound two categories? It was sound editing and sound mixing. Did they just combine them?
I believe so.
Okay. Which can I give my beef with this sound category
Do
for a
it.
previous?
I love beef.
It's what's for dinner.
Uh,
Wait,
or
was it beef? It's what's for dinner. That was the old slogan, right?
is it chicken?
No, it was beef.
It's beef. Okay.
So back in the day when Slumdog Millionaire was the darling of the
I
industry,
like that movie.
no, that movie's bad. Uh,
It's but okay.
okay, it's not bad. It just did not deserve all the praise it got. So it was up for sound editing and sound mixing against Wall-E. Wall-E is nothing but sound to tell a story and convey emotions between two robots for the first hour of the movie. And it loses to Slumdog Millionaire? Well, what was so interesting and good
Can't
about
give
it?
prestigious awards to cartoons, Benjamin.
Yeah, they have their own category. They get the animated category, and that's it. You don't get any other technical stuff. And that made me lose a lot of faith in the category because it's just everybody who voted was all about Slumdog Millionaire. And I don't see it. I don't think it's all that great of a movie. And especially like that movie had the distributor of it, they were just gonna like dump it to rentals. They had no faith in it. And it wasn't until someone else bought it that it blew up. And I don't know.
Well,
They should have just dumped it.
I don't have the list of everything that came out that year to defend
Hmm.
anything about it, but
But if it's just those
but
two,
yes, sure. If it's just a single, I'd probably give it well as well. Sure.
all
All
right,
right.
down.
Down. Belfast. Dune. No Time to Die. The Power of the Dog, and West Side Story.
Mm.
So my initial reaction to this would probably go with Dune
Yeah.
deserves to win it, but I could see maybe West Side Story squeaking out a win.
But it's just when it's a musical and it's sound, I feel like it really shouldn't be in this category. To me, this is how do you use sound effects to help enhance. And with West Side Story, it already has the singing to tell the story to enhance it.
Sure, that's a different thing, though, I think.
So can you really think back to West Side Story and go like, man, that sound design because of them playing on trash cans or something was so good? I don't know. I haven't seen it.
I just think that there is a lot of subtlety in sound, and I think sound is such a broad category. When you think of sound, you think of, okay, well, like obviously it's going to go to the Avengers or something because it's like these big action set pieces where
Mm-hmm.
there's tons of booming and everything, and all this different effects are going on. Or there's dinosaurs that don't exist, but you're giving them roars and stuff. Like it makes sense to where people instantly go, okay, well, what's the biggest budget thing? Because that's probably what deserves it. I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me it being a prestigious Spielberg movie who
Mm,
has done great movies with sound in them,
yeah.
and very well might be the same sound mixer that has done Spielberg. I don't know. I
Mm.
didn't look at it,
So what are you
but
picking?
I'm gonna say I think I think Dune will win it, and I
Yeah.
think it does deserve to win it.
Yeah. Yeah. Dune's my pick too.
But
Now,
Dark Horse is West Side Story. I just want
okay.
to put that out there.
Okay. Now my favorite categories to vote on is the short film, live and animated, because I don't know any of these. So usually I pick it as they're saying the nominees because it's I just pick what's the one I want to see the most from the 3 second clip that they
Yeah.
show. But now I'm just going off of titles.
Yep.
So let's short film live.
All right. The nominees are Ella Kachu, Take and Run, The Dress, The Long Goodbye, On My Mind, and Please Hold.
Well, as someone who's very passionate about all these movies, I'm saying please hold
I had
is
a feeling you go with Please
yeah.
Hold. Yeah.
I'm just imagining someone's on hold with paying a bill, making a doctor's appointment, and there's a lot of options, and it's going to be really frustrating and silly and fun of just this person having to get through this whole
Hmm.
phone call. And I bet they get to the end and it's like, "Hi, how can I help you?" Yes, and then his battery goes dead, and then he loses the call, and that's the fun little ending to it.
Man, that's a great pitch.
Yep,
Wrong, but
is it?
I'm just kidding.
I'm
So you're going to go with Please
going.
Hold.
Please hold.
I am going to go with The Long Goodbye.
Okay.
Only because I see that Riz Ahmed is involved in it, and I like Riz
Oh,
Ahmed.
okay.
And if he never wins an Oscar for acting, maybe this is his way of getting one.
Okay. All right.
All right.
What's next?
So next up, we have short film animated. The nominees are Affairs of the Art, Bestia, Box Ballot or Bach
Black
Ballet,
ballet.
sorry,
Yeah.
Robin Robin, and The Windshield Wiper. Dibs on The Windshield
What a
Wiper.
motherfucker. Okay. You could take it. You could take it.
I once again know nothing about that. I just like the title.
Yeah, that's and so is that a homeless person on the corner, holding up his little empty coffee cup?
Hmm.
Uh,
And then a stranger comes along and changes his life. Or
mm,
maybe the windshield wiper comes along and changes the person behind the car's life.
oh yeah.
I can I guess yours?
I haven't actually picked yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna say sure. Okay. What am I picking?
Is it Bestia?
No, it's
Damn
Robin
it.
Robin.
Robin Robin's my second guess.
Sure it was. All right. Production design.
This one's actually a tough category, I think.
Okay.
So, production design. The nominees are Dune, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, The Tragedy of Macbeth, and West Side Story.
Yeah, that is kind of tough. I'm not gonna say it's Dune. Their production, it's good, but
Yeah,
it's very simple and kind of
yeah.
bland.
I think this one Dune is out of.
Um,
Uh, Power of the Dog, I'm gonna say is out of it too, just
hmm
because there's really not much to it. Like the whole movie pretty much takes place on one ranch where there's not. It's not
Yeah.
like there's a lot. It's like you could get this place on Zillow, you know. Uh, there there isn't too much craziness going on there. I didn't see the tragedy of Macbeth, but I'm gonna say that its black and white aesthetic will kind of keep it out of that.
Hmm. I
Um,
think it will win something later.
so it's either between Nightmare Alley or West Side Story.
Yep.
I think West Side Story will win. I
Hmm.
think Nightmare Alley deserves to win because I think production design wise, Nightmare Alley looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Like every shot in that movie looks so cool.
Yeah. So what are you gonna say? Will win West Side Story?
Will win. West Side should win Nightmare Alley.
Okay. I agree with that. I think West Side Story has a really good chance. But I'm picking Nightmare Alley. I think this will be the only thing it wins. I don't know why it's nominated so much, especially, I mean, maybe it is because, like, okay, Del Toro won for Shape of Water. So I could see them wanting to give him props for that. Uh, but it did so poorly in the box office. I'm just very surprised to see
Yeah.
it on this.
Well, I mean, some of these things that are nominated have made far less money than Nightmare Alley.
Sure, but they also
That
have
movie.
smaller
Sure,
releases
yeah,
or
yeah. To say money isn't everything to the
sure, 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 sure. All right. Next one is
music original song. The nominees are Be Alive, Dos Oruguitas
from Encanto.
from Encanto, Down to Joy from Belfast, No Time to Die from No Time to Die, and Somehow You Do from Four Good Days.
You know,
That was no Four Good
I've
Days.
never heard that.
So
Ooh, I haven't
mm,
heard any of these songs. I mean, I guess I heard "Be Alive" from King Richard. I just don't remember it. I heard "No Time to Die," but
I've
that
heard No Time to Die
that was like
and
so
Oregon.
underwhelming.
Uh, yeah, I want to say that Bond has done well at the
Hmm.
Oscars before,
Sure.
and Billie Eilish is very big right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that that song does work well with that movie, and I think her voice is, uh, very interesting and different. So that could help, and I think a lot of people would like to see her win.
Hmm.
Um, I think Encanto's got a lot going for it right now, but the music was one thing that didn't necessarily blow me away about
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
So I think my pick for that's gonna win is gonna be Encanto, but what I want to win is No Time to Die.
Okay. I'm saying Encanto also will win.
What would you like to win?
None. I don't care about any of those. None. I mean, some of them I haven't seen or haven't heard, and the ones I have heard don't really stick with me.
Yeah, I
So,
think before we do an Oscar special, we should see and hear all this stuff.
nah.
Fuck them. All
All
right.
right. Music.
Music original score. The nominees are Don't Look Up, Dune, Encanto, Parallel Mothers, and The Power of the Dog.
Hmm.
Uh,
Parallel Mothers. What's that?
no idea. I'm gonna say will and want to win Dune.
Okay. Steve says Dune. I say will win Encanto.
If Power of the Dog wins, that's my dark horse. It won't surprise me whatsoever. But
Really, is the music pretty good in that?
not necessarily. But it's a very small movie. I mean, it's all just kind of
Hmm.
set out in the open west, so there's lots of long kind of pauses. So
Okay.
music does play a part. But I wouldn't say that there's any part of that movie where the score hits and you're just like, damn, this is a score here. But Dune has plenty of that.
All right, for the next category, there's a pretty shocking nominee on there I did not expect.
Quite a. Yeah. All right. Next category is makeup and hairstyling. Coming to America,
Does anybody care?
Cruella, Dune, The Eyes of Tammy Faye, and House of Gucci. It's crazy how many Oscar movies Eddie Murphy has been in solely because he puts on makeup.
Yeah.
Like, Norbit won an Oscar. Norbit.
It's crazy that Norbit and the first Suicide Squad are Oscar winning movies.
Like, imagine being, hey, I'm the guy who directed Norbit. Yeah, the Oscar winning film, Norbit. It's ridiculous. That's,
Put that on the box.
oh, I would.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
100%. I mean, I think the movie DVD came out before the Oscars, but
Yeah.
I would recall them all and put that back out.
Or you send out a bunch of stickers to the store and
Yeah.
you tell them slap it on the
Yeah.
slipcase
Uh,
because Norbit has a
not to
slipcase.
like belittle the people who worked on that movie, like, I'm sure the makeup's great.
Yeah.
And
No,
them winning them
it's
winning
great
an Oscar
makeup.
doesn't bother me. It's just a movie of that quality
Yeah.
winning anything is, other
Mhm.
than Razzies, is astounding.
Did you hear that there's a new category in the Razzies?
I did.
Worst performance by Bruce Willis in 2021. And you know what's going to win? It'll be a tie.
Yeah.
They'll absolutely go.
Well,
And it's a tie.
all right. So back to the category: makeup and
Yes.
hairstyling. Coming to America. Oh wait, no, I
You
did
did
that.
well. You did
Sorry.
them. I'm saying Eyes of Tammy Faye just because she does have a progression of going from
Hmm.
like very normal looking makeup to very extreme, and they get her look so accurate. It's very good. Whereas like Cruella, you put a skunk wig on her and that's it. This is just makeup and hairstyling. That's not special. Costume, that's another story. Coming to America, who cares? House of Gucci. Okay, I guess that's for Jared Leto, which I
Yeah.
think looks pretty good.
Hmm.
Um, but I think because it wasn't a well loved movie and his performance is bad, he will not get it. And Dune, everybody just has their hair. What's special about Dune?
Makeup. I mean, they zhuzh up the Skarsgård and Batista and
Sure,
stuff,
sure, sure,
and
sure. Yeah, I didn't think of them,
they do some weird stuff.
but that I think that's more setting and costumes than much on the makeup. I think the only thing on here is Tammy Faye Baker.
Yeah, I'll say what I think will win is Tammy Faye.
Okay.
What I want to win would be Cruella, though.
Oh, they don't call it foreign film anymore, huh?
This probably is the easiest category to pick because they seem to do this all the time,
Mm-hmm.
where there's a movie in here nominated for Best Picture as well.
Yep.
So of
So,
course it's going to win
yep, it's Drive My Car.
So your nominees for International Feature Film are Drive My Car from Japan, Flee from Denmark, The Hand of God from Italy, Lunana, a yak in the classroom from Bhutan, and The Worst Person in the World from Norway.
Okay, so I was
And
right.
and of course, Drive My Car will win,
Yep.
and I'll say I want it to win.
I want Hand of God to win. You should look at that trailer. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks crazy.
All right, next category: film editing. We have Don't Look Up, Dune, King Richard, The Power of the Dog, and Tick Tick Boom.
I I I want Andrew Garfield to win for Tick Tick Boom. I don't think he will, so I'm gonna give this will be the thing. Tick Tick Boom wins.
So I think Power of the Dog is going to be the movie that kind of does The Departed, where I think it won like screenplay, editing, uh, picture, and director.
Director,
I think it's going to
that's
be
gonna be
that
the
route.
one.
So
Okay.
I think Power of the Dog will win, but I want Tick Tick Boom to win just because I feel like there was a lot of editing work with the song and
Yeah.
musical numbers.
Jumping from different
Yeah,
timelines.
and I think
Yeah.
the editing in that film is pretty great. So Tick Tick Boom should win, but the Power of the Dog is my choice for will win.
Okay.
So documentary short subject is the next category, and the nominees are Audible, Lead Me Home, The Queen of Basketball, three songs for Benazir,
Benazir.
Benazir,
Yeah.
and When We Were Bullies. Do you want to pick first?
Yes. When we were bullies.
Okay. I want to pick The Queen of Basketball.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Is it going to be like the Queen of England in her royal garb, like taking it
Oh,
to the?
damn. I would love to see that movie. Just this 9-year-old woman just hooping it up.
It'll be like a one of those Freaky Friday things where some young basketball player and the Queen of England switch bodies, and so you have this young person in the Queen of England, and it's just like
This is the Eddie Murphy movie that we should see, really. Like Eddie Murphy is just some old lady doing an Eddie Murphy impression, going like basketball and just like
but then like killing it on the floor.
killing on the floor, and somehow still had like, despite her body not changing, to have the ability
Yeah.
to dunk solely because someone knows how to.
And
And everyone, there's going to be that shot of she's going to dunk, and then the camera cuts to like all the other team, and they're all like, "Whoa!" And they like follow their eye line across those.
all the flash bulbs are
Yeah.
going off. Yeah, and she's just dunking, and then you have the young person, or then you have Oh wait, it
No,
doesn't work. Because
she's
the queen wouldn't be playing basketball. It'd be the queen in the young person's body. I don't care. I want the queen playing basketball,
yeah,
and I
with the
want a
queen
young
basketball.
person on the
And
throne.
when she's in midair and she's about to dunk, she's actually coming up short. So
Mhm.
she takes out her cane and hooks into the rim and then like swings around and dunks it in.
Oh no, no! She has to make like a 3-point shot, and it's bouncing around, and she like throws her crown or something to knock it in, or one of her corgis
Right.
comes and knocks it in.
Even better,
Okay.
like the game's tied up. There's like 10 seconds left on the clock. She's got the ball. She goes for the shot. She gets fouled super hard by like the biggest student in the team. Like she looks fucking hurt. And it's like, oh, I can't make the shot. Like I can't lift my arms like that. And then that's when they switch back and
Uh-huh.
it's like, Granny, you gotta take the shot. So it's like, I got this. And she does the actual granny shot because she doesn't have to like lift her arm over.
Yeah.
And so it's the granny shot from the grandma that wins the game and gets them the points to
Damn,
win.
that's absolutely it. Because you could have that being built up of like that's how one person does it, and it is scientifically more accurate
Yep.
to do it that way. But everybody thinks you look like a big wiener, so they don't
Yeah,
do it.
the queen won't care.
Yeah, she won't
Like,
give a
I'm the
shit.
queen, yeah, and I won the game, and then they
Hmm.
hoist the queen up, and she's the champion, and yeah,
It's like Mike meets Airbud meets Freaky
Juana
Friday
Man,
meets Juana Man meets that what's that Ben Affleck basketball alcohol movie?
the turnaround, I
Yeah,
think,
it's all of those.
the way back, that's what it is.
Is it the way?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm thinking of the way back.
yeah.
That'd be funny if we did a this meets that, and you picked the way back, and I picked the way back, and it's the way back.
It's the kid who was bullied from the first movie. He's now grown up and become an alcoholic.
Uh,
He owns the water. We're getting off
Off
track.
track. This is the wrong thing. Yeah, save our terrible movie ideas for the other podcasts. Okay. All right. Contact us if you like to write our
So
script.
loud.
I know.
But it actually might be better for the audio if it's like if we're being louder and it's picking up on this shitty thing.
Yeah, because it's like sometimes you turn your head and you're talking that way, and it like
Yeah.
goes down.
Anywho,
Documentary feature.
yeah, I picked
You
the
picked
Queen of
Queen
Basketball,
Basketball
and you picked what was it?
when we were bullies.
When we were bullies. All right.
Because I think that's going to be powerful.
Yeah, for
It's like,
sure.
I was a piece of shit in high school, and I pushed over the handicapped kid all the time because it was so fucking funny. Now, like, it's still pretty funny, but like, I
feel
regret
bad.
it. Especially because he's like super rich now, so I gotta apologize.
All right. Documentary feature. The nominees are Ascension, Attica, Flee, Summer of Soul, or When the Revolution Could Not Be Televised, and Writing with Fire.
I know my pick.
I know mine.
Summer of Soul.
I had a feeling that would be yours.
Yeah? Why?
Uh,
Why?
Pass. My pick is Attica. And I only picked that because I did a book report essentially on Attica.
Mhm.
And it was the longest report I've ever had to do. It had to be 10 pages, Ben.
Wow.
Yeah. And this was, I think, freshman year of high school.
Okay.
Uh, but Attica's I'm assuming that this title is in reference to the prison ride of Attica,
Yeah.
which I have been wanting to turn into a movie for a long time.
All right. Next.
We'll skip directing. We'll save directing and
Okay.
the.
I wrote it down, but whatever.
Okay.
Oh yeah, costume.
Next up is costume design. The nominees are Cruella, Cyrano, Dune,
Cyrano is not even out.
Nightmare Alley, and West Side Story. Well, it came out in December. It's limited.
Nah, of course it did.
So, what I want to win is Cruella,
Mm-hmm.
and what will win, I'll say Cruella.
Okay. I'm gonna also pick Cruella. Just that montage of all the cool dresses she makes
Yeah. I
wins.
mean, we've seen futuristic stuff before. I mean,
Yeah.
there's some cool costumes in Dune for sure. Uh, Nightmare Alley and West Side Story are essentially, I mean, they're period pieces, and period
Yeah.
pieces always do well, but
But that's why I think like Cyrano has a good chance because like period pieces that are
Oh, yeah.
more than 100 years,
period
even
pieces
better.
of like British countryside, Downton Abbey kind of look. Those always do really, really well. So that would be what I would think would be the front runner.
Mhm.
Plus, I think the when I think of Nightmare Alley and West Side Story, I don't look at the costume and go like, "Wow, these outfits are really selling it." But
Yeah.
Cruella is all about costume design, and all the costumes are awesome.
Yeah, and they're creative, and that's my problem when something like a Cyrano would win because all you have to do is look at historical references and then recreate it.
Yeah,
That's there's talent there for sure. I'm not
100%.
shitting on them, but you look at Cruella and it's how do we make this dress out of garbage look cool as shit?
Yeah, I mean, how many Keira Knightley period piece movies do there need to be to where it's just like, oh, okay, we're doing 1800s England?
Mm-hmm.
You just give them the Oscar. It's like,
Yeah.
shit, switch it up a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Next.
Cinematography, one of my favorite categories.
Too.
Cinematography, defining how your movie looks. The nominees are Dune, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, The Tragedy of Macbeth, and West Side Story.
Hmm.
So this one's, I think, could go a couple different
Yeah.
ways.
Any of these, I think, can take it.
Yeah, we just talked about how much I loved the look of Nightmare Alley, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't think it has the power behind it to really get it going.
Sure.
Uh,
Same with Dune. Like, I think it's a good looking movie,
yeah,
but it's not necessarily very creative on the cinematography
sure.
side.
I think that Dune, from a visual standpoint, I like it so much because so many of those shots in that movie, I've never seen that shit before, and
Mm, yeah.
like everything about it just looks interesting.
Okay.
But I think West Side Story is a little too glossy to win.
Okay.
Tragedy of Macbeth might be a little too out there to win.
Okay.
I would kind of lump in of Macbeth with Dune. So what I want to win might actually be Dune, but what I think will win might be Power of the Dog.
Okay.
So I'll say, I don't know.
Already wrote it down. What's your
Okay,
pick?
I picked Power of the Dog, but I want Dune to win.
um, I'm gonna just because any of these could take it. I'm gonna just say West Side Story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Take some risks.
Yeah. Voting for a movie I have not seen, don't want to see, and it's all about a visual thing. So.
Uh, all right, the next category, this one's going to disappoint me, is animated feature film. The nominees are Encanto, Flea, Luca, The Mitchells versus the Machines, and Raya and the Last Dragon. So what will win, I
Is in
believe, is going to be Encanto.
Encanto. But I
Luca,
think even
I
Luca.
like Luca more,
Yeah.
but I think Luca came out too early and everyone's kind of forgotten it,
Yeah.
especially after the popularity of Encanto.
And same with Raya and the Last
But
Dragon.
yeah, and I believe that you and I are in the same boat that Mitchell the Machine should fucking win
Yeah.
because it's fantastic.
Yep.
It's one of the best films this year
Hmm.
by far.
So you're gonna put yourself down for Encanto?
Encanto's gonna win it.
It's always a Disney thing, you know? And I
Always. Sometimes you do lose.
oh yeah, sure. I mean like Shrek won the very first animated feature once it became a category. So yeah, other things can win, but it usually is a Disney movie. But I
Disney wins it the most.
most.
I mean,
So
their three of their movies are in here, so they're kind of they might actually split their own vote, and that's
oh,
why
oh.
Flea will win. Whatever Flea is.
Yeah, I haven't seen Encanto yet. Like I keep seeing ads, and nothing is winning me over. Like I just don't want to pull the trigger on it.
Yeah.
But
Well, now that it's nominated, you have to.
I'm gonna say Mitchell's versus the Machine. I'm gonna say the dark horse is gonna win this year,
I hope so.
even though I think it'll come up and most people will be like, "What is that?" Because I don't know if it really did all that well. Okay.
Actress in a supporting role: Jessie Buckley for The Lost Daughter, Ariana DeBose for West Side Story, Judi Dench for Belfast, Kirsten Dunst for The Power of the Dog, and I apologize, Aujane Ellis for King Richard.
Okay. I don't think that's right.
I don't think it is either.
I mean, she's one of
Ingenue Ellis,
maybe it's Ingenue.
Ingenue Ellis. Sure, we'll go with that.
Sure. I think she's one of the better things of that movie, but she's not in it very much. So I'm gonna say Jessie Buckley for The Lost Daughter because I don't know what that is. I don't know who that is, and I can see it being like a oh my god, this is the start of a career for this bright young person, just kind of like the
Yeah,
the Danish girl.
I think if The Lost Daughter takes anything, it's going to be acting. But I fucking excuse me for stretching. I loved Ariana DeBose in West Side Story. Watching her in that movie, I was like, this is an Oscar performance here. Like
Hmm.
everything about her, I thought was great. She just really, I thought, embodied that role and made me feel genuine emotion when she was feeling it. I think she's a star, and I want to see her more stuff,
Okay.
and I want her to win.
Okay.
And she's my pick to win.
Okay.
All right. Next up, actress in a leading role. The nominees are Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye, Olivia Colman for The Lost Daughter, Penelope Cruz for Parallel Mothers, Nicole Kidman in Being the Ricardos, and Kristen Stewart in Spencer. Oof, this is a tough one because, with the exception of Kristen Stewart, I think all these people have either won or been nominated,
Yeah.
and these are all kind of prestigious projects.
That's why it's going to be Kristen Stewart.
Uh, but yeah, I've heard pretty great things about Spencer and
Hmm.
her in it. I think Nicole Kidman was the front runner for this for a bit,
Hmm.
but I think the movie's lost some of its motor.
Yeah.
I don't think enough people have seen The Eyes of Tammy Faye to really
Yeah.
warrant the nomination.
Hmm.
Olivia Colman, I think, is probably the more obvious choice,
Hmm.
especially since Lost Daughter seems to be like a real acting exercise. And I haven't heard anything about Parallel Mothers or Penelope Cruz.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be between Coleman and Stewart, but my pick for is also Stewart
All
for the
right.
win.
I can't wait to see her like I'm so awkward acceptance speech.
All right, next up, actor in a supporting role. We
Mhm.
have Kieran Hines for Belfast, Troy Kotsur for Coda, Jesse Plemons for The Power of the Dog, J.K. Simmons in being the J.K. Simmons being the Ricardos, and Cody Smith McPhee, The Power of the Dog.
Ooh, I ooh, I'm assuming the role for Belfast that he's a villain character. I don't know that for sure.
No,
No.
he's a lovable grandfather figure
Oh, okay.
in the movie. I think
Hmm.
he is my pick for will win. Who I want to win, I'll say Cody Smith McPhee,
Right.
because Benedict Cumberbatch is great in that movie, and I think he's only as good as his co-star, and I think Cody Smith McPhee plays a weirdo really well, and he does, and he's a good back and forth with him. I never saw Being the Ricardos, and J.K. Simmons already won, so I can't see him doing it again,
Yeah.
really. And I didn't think Jesse Plemons was all that great in The Power of the Dog. He really
Okay.
didn't have that much to do.
Mm-hmm. Is
And
he a villain?
no,
No.
uh,
I'm
he's just kind of like a
picking.
lovable doofus brother to Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Say Troy Kutzer just because he'll just this fresh face and
sure.
I'm assuming he's the deaf brother or is he the deaf
I
dad?
don't know enough about Coda to argue that.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, so I'm gonna say Troy Kutzer.
I'm gonna say Kieran, but I want Cody to win.
Okay.
All right, down the last three categories. Actor in a leading role. We have we have Javier. Jesus Christ.
What do you mean?
Actor in a leading role. We have Javier Bardem for Being the Ricardos, Benedict Cumberbatch in The Power of the Dog, Andrew Garfield in Tick Tick Boom, Will Smith in King Richard, and Denzel Washington in The Tragedy of Macbeth. This one is a no-brainer for me. Andrew Garfield should and will win.
Okay.
I mean,
Uh,
Benedict Cumberbatch is tough competition. I think he's the front runner of like your prestigious award-winning actor kind of thing, but Andrew Garfield's just so fucking good in that movie.
yeah. I'm saying Denzel just because it's like easy. And this will be the only thing that Tragedy of Macbeth will win. I'm like, damn, he was so good. And it's funny that I'm
I
picking
don't think
because
it'll win anything.
yeah. Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I think it could win something, but there's plenty of movies that come in here that are renowned and don't win stuff
Sure.
all the
Yeah.
time.
I'm just I want Andrew Garfield to win, but I can just see Denzel Washington taking it and being like, yeah, of course. It's Denzel. It's just like Meryl Streep. Of course, she's gonna win it. It'll be Denzel, and it's funny because
And Denzel's been nominated a bunch of times
sure,
and like doesn't win all the time.
sure. Mhm. And I don't like Denzel, and I don't think he's that great. But I'm picking him.
Okay,
So what we got? Director and picture.
director and picture.
Okay.
All right. So directing, the nominees are Kenneth Branagh for Belfast, Ryosuke Hamaguchi for Drive My Car, Paul Thomas Anderson for Licorice Pizza, Jane Campion for The Power of the Dog, and Steven Spielberg for West Side Story. Uh, will win Jane for The Power of the Dog.
What's his name again?
Her name is
Oh,
Jane Campion.
oh, I thought you were saying Jane was the last name.
Oh,
Jane. I'm gonna say Paul Thomas Anderson.
no way.
Just saying.
Okay. Who I want to win? Spielberg. I really loved West Side Story. It was my number two pick of the year.
Hmm.
And I think to I mean, I guess the argument would be, well, he just took a movie that already existed and refurbished it, so
Yeah.
it's hard to argue that he deserves to win. But I don't know. He took a film that's was a Best Picture winner and remade it, and I think made it even better, and just had a great time watching it. So
Okay.
I think he deserves some credit for that. But Power Dog's gonna win for sure.
Okay.
All right, final category: Best Picture of the Year. The nominees are Belfast, Coda, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, and West Side Story.
Like you just said, West Side Story had already won, so that I don't think that really qualifies for
No,
anything.
I
I
think it's
think it could absolutely win and be like, this is a first of the same movie winning Best Picture two
maybe the
times.
only reason it would win.
Yes, that and I'm having a thought that it might be, but I kinda want to say Don't Look Up. I think it's a dark horse pick,
No,
but I kinda want to say Don't Look Up because of all the movies on
that's
here,
bottom of the
that
list.
is the best picture.
Uh,
But I'm gonna say it's Belfast.
I think Power of the Dog wins. It has 11 nominations. It's the most
Hmm.
nominated. Power of the Dog.
It just doesn't look interesting.
It's really not all that
Yeah.
interesting. Uh, I think Power of the Dog wins for sure. Belfast probably come in second place.
Hmm.
And then West Side Story would be third place because all these other ones are essentially just filler, I believe.
Yeah.
I think Coda's getting respect, but
Hmm.
mostly for like a small, more indie thing.
Hmm.
Like it's this, not that it doesn't deserve it. I think it's just getting a lot of, well, you're the best of this level of filmmaking, so
Sure.
we'll recognize you.
Hmm.
But you're not competing with all these other um, major directors and major Hollywood films. Power of the Dog, I think, is
So Denis Villeneuve wasn't up for Best Director, huh?
he was not, which
Wow.
I would have probably taken out a couple of different people.
Yeah.
But that being said, I didn't see some of their movies. I probably would have taken out Belfast. I mean, Belfast is just about a family just living in Ireland.
Hmm. And racial tensions, right?
Uh, well, I think it's more uh, political
Oh,
tension
okay.
with Northern Ireland and
Okay.
such, I
Okay.
believe, and their ongoing struggle. But I mean, I don't know how you look at Dune and go like, "Holy shit, someone made this thing
Yeah.
exist."
Yeah. Someone took the thing that was considered unfilmable, made it totally fucking work, and you're not going to even recognize them for
Yeah,
that. Yeah, I think Dune will get some technical stuff, but
it's
that's
like
a
Paul
shame.
Thomas Anderson has made some incredible films, and I
Hmm.
haven't seen Licorice Pizza,
Yeah.
but I can't imagine it blowing people's minds watching Licorice Pizza.
I hear it's really fun.
I do want to see it more than other stuff.
Hmm.
And I've heard Drive My Car is incredible, but I mean,
It's no
I'm not
Parasite.
upset that I'm not upset that any of these movies are on here. These people are nominated. They're all well known and great. It's just the fact that Villeneuve was left off.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, I'm upset that King Richard's on here. I can't see why so many people like that movie. I really want you to watch it because it's not good.
I mean, my fiance, I think, said she wanted to, so maybe I'll suck it up and watch it with her.
What's it on? Was it?
HBO.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
All right, so
Wow.
you've heard it here, folks. These are our picks. Well, after the Oscars happen,
Yeah. Which is when?
March at some point.
Isn't it sometimes like first week of February?
I don't know. It should be, but we're
Oh no,
already
no,
in
no.
February right now.
Well, oh yeah, it is towards the end of February because I remember sometimes it does fall on my birthday. Which guys, my birthday's coming up. What are you buying me?
Oscars are your birthday, March 27th.
Wow, that's really late.
So
Okay.
over a month away.
Well, that's my birthday present to you. You watching the Oscars.
I don't want to watch the Oscars.
But we got that. No, I guess we don't
We don't
got it.
have to.
Yeah, we could fake it.
Yeah.
Watch all the
The
highlights.
Oscars. Wasn't it crazy when this happened?
We just make up things like, and then so and so's pants fell down, and the person had a slur come out.
I guess we'll have to watch it because it's Sunday. We'll just be recording that. I didn't even think of that.
Oh
So
yeah, well, like,
we'll watch it and
and
it'll be
then
over at 11, and then we'll react to it instantly. We'll be the first podcast up, baby.
no, because it takes
No.
me forever to edit
No, I know.
this thing.
No, we're just gonna. Oh, we'll just podcast it live.
Oh yeah,
We'll do 3 hours.
we'll do YouTube live. I mean, that's a thing. No one's gonna be watching it, but sure it's a thing.
But people can see our faces and go like, "Ooh,
I'm just unsubscribed.
has
So thanks for tuning in. Those are our picks for the Oscars of 2022. Is it considered Oscars? It's not Oscars 2021, right? Because even though it's the movies of 2021, it
I
airs in 2022.
Yeah, I think it's still the Oscars of 2022.
I guess they call it like it's Oscars 83 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are your guys' picks? Do you agree, disagree? Do you have any dark horse picks you'd like to choose? Hit us up on Twitter at WRPL Podcast, or you can email us at WRPLpodcast@gmail.com. My name's Ben.
And I'm Steve.
Good night, everyone.